Ladies and gentlemen, Geri Petito.
I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. And in time, this too shall pass. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. Geri Petito taught the class. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. Loves the answer, the greener grass. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. One day at a time, free at last.
When you don't know just what to do,
Just what to do, just what to do.
if what you're feeling is really true,
Is it really true? Is it really true?
just keep your ideas safe and sound.
Safe and sound, safe and sound.
That's exactly how change is found.
Change is found, change is found. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. And in time, this too shall pass. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. Geri Petito taught the class. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. Loves the answer, the greener grass. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. One day at a time, free at last.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Geri Petito Show on Hamilton Radio. Everyone and anyone out there who knows me knows I am the author of I'm Not an Addict, I'm Just an Ass. I'd rather be a smartass than a dumbass, guys, because 31 years ago, I was a dumbass. But through the grace of God, I can honestly say now, today, 31 years later, I'm a smartass. And yes, the word ass is in the Bible over 40 times, and it means donkey. And that's what I was. Having said that, I say that to say this, guys, all kidding aside. Everyone out there either knows someone or has had issues with addiction, and it could be any kind of addiction. Okay, food, sex, anything, gambling, right? My book can help you. We have to start looking at addiction differently, guys. Okay, you're being lied to. Don't believe in the lies. You're not powerless, not over anything, especially with God. Okay, you're not powerless over anything. If I could do it, you could do it. I'm a recovery coach. I'm a nutritional health coach. My services to you are free. If anyone out there needs help, please reach out. We need to know that we're not alone, that there's always someone listening, okay? You can also get my book for yourself or for a loved one, okay, through Simon & Schuster's Archway Publishing bookstore. And if there's someone out there that truly, truly needs this book and can't afford it, please reach out to me. Okay, I also want to give a shout out to my sponsor, Fire Team Designs. They've done everything for me, my hats, my t-shirts, everything, mugs. They can do anything you want, okay? Fire Team Designs. Having said that, guys, I am super psyched that this interview has finally come. I mean, come on, I've been waiting for this for so long, right? We had to postpone it a couple times, but guess what? I have an incredible, incredible friend, DJ, radio talk show host, who's now also a part of Hamilton Radio. The one and only, guys, Mike Wagner. Say hello to the world.
Hey guys, how you doing? Thanks for having me on. It's great to be on board, Geri. It is finally an honor to be interviewed by you. So
well, I was honored to be interviewed by you, and I'm just like, this is so cool. Now it's my turn, okay? Now it's my turn. I'm so excited about this. You know, let's talk first about you being part of Hamilton Radio now. Talk a little bit about that, and then we'll go back.
Well, actually, I think you guys actually asked me to join Hamilton Radio. The fact that that at first I wasn't too sure about it, but then it's just like, you know, I got to ask, was it last month, 2 months, somewhere around there? I've lost track of time, and there are days I forget how many cups of coffee I had or what I had for breakfast. Just one of those days. Well, speaking of coffee, I'll sometimes have that. I'll talk about that in a few minutes as well. But I was actually asked by Gene Pure, who's such a great guy, and he's asked, how'd you be on Hamilton Radio? And he got to hear my shows. He got to hear you on my show. He also heard, what was it, Norman Fox and the Rob Roys. It was also Faye Vilas and the Silvertones, and then Dorian and Jerry Armenio, Mike Dupree, Karen Wallow, Phyllis Allen, all the great people out there. Mel Carter, who also sang Hold Me, Thrill Me, Kiss Me.
Yes.
He was on there. Oh my gosh, it was so amazing. And of course, I had some other great celebrities as well too. We'll go over that. And then when he got to listen, he goes, how'd you like to be on? So I'm going to break the news right now that my show is going to be on every Thursday night at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central on HamiltonRadio.net. And I'm going to break the big news right now that the first episode coming up this Thursday, what is it, May 3rd, May 5th or something? I got to look at my calendar here. It's May 5th, and I'm going to break the news out to you right now that my interview with you is going to be on the show and kicking it off Hamilton Radio.
Yes. Yes, I'm so excited. Okay, you just really, really, really made my day. Thank you, my darling.
The it's my pleasure. I had to break the news somehow. So for those about to listen to Hamilton Radio, you can get to catch the interview with the amazing Geri Petito, who literally doesn't act like an ass, just a lovable one. So
Listen, you are so awesome. This is way too cool. Okay, so all right, I am so excited that you're on board with us. This is like incredibly great. You're honoring me with making my show the #1 show that you're going to be doing. I didn't know that, so that's why I'm reacting like this. I'm so excited, and thank you. I love you. Okay, I love you for a ton of reasons. Okay, we have a lot of things in common with radio, with our love for God, right? I mean,
mm-hmm.
you know, but your interviews are off the charts. Everyone you mentioned, I've interviewed, and you and I share people now, which is so great. You know, you'll give me people, I'll give you people. We've got our buddy John Terlizzi. Let's give him a shout out. We have
Yes, yes, the man
Okay.
from New Jersey, Mr. Philly, Mr. Everything, and oh my gosh! And I'll tell you one thing. I almost worked in Philadelphia at one point. You know, 15 years ago for coming to Bismarck, I was actually in audio visual, and I worked as an assistant manager before working for a ministry for 8 years, and they gave me some sites to go to. I almost went to Cleveland. I almost went to Cincinnati, and I almost had a couple of phone interviews in St. Louis, and then up in Madison, Green Bay, and then out in Pittsburgh, and then Philadelphia. I was so close, but that fell through. But it turned out that I still love the city of brotherly love. I've been wanting to go out to Philadelphia for quite some time, not just check out the Constitution, Liberty Bell, the Rocky statue, which I still adore. Check out all the great teams over there. But the one thing I would love is having an actual Philly cheesesteak in Philadelphia.
Listen, that's so funny because I live in the tri-state area. To me, that doesn't mean much, but I get it. I totally get it. If we ever get to meet and you get to come here, I will get you a Philly cheesesteak. All right?
Oh, definitely, yeah. And of course, if I'm in Philly, I like to go to Phillies games. I'm gonna get me some tickets, or go see the Eagles, go see the Flyers, the Sixers, and up in Jersey as well too. What you got? I think you got minor league baseball over there. It's like you got what, Coney Island, or you got I'm trying to think of the one team that's been getting a lot of attention. It's near Coney Island. I can't think right now. I'm sure that'll come up. There's probably like 50 million teams in New Jersey, and then you got the Snoopy Plex where you have the Jets and the Giants, and then you got the Brooklyn Nets for basketball, and of course hockey. You got the New Jersey Devils, and then you got the Lone Sister problem child, though they won a couple of Stanley Cups, the Islanders out of Long Island, and of course got your Rangers, you got the Mets, and then you also got the Yankees, and of course you got the New York Knicks and whatever else. So you got so many choices. You can't stay in New York for a week, or even Philadelphia or Jersey.
I want to share something funny with you. I just shared this show live on Facebook, and John Terlizzi already just shared it. John, we love you, man. That's so
Just
funny.
now?
Just now, listen.
Wow.
As you're talking, I shared the YouTube link on Facebook.
Oh my gosh, new technology. So I guess we're live as we speak.
We're live as we speak, but John Terlizzi, as quick as I shared it, he grabbed it and just shared it. We love him.
Wow, that was amazing. You know what, that reminds me of Spaceballs, and that one scene in there where it's just like you and I are talking, but then it's like you have a screen that'll predict 10 seconds about what you're about to say and do. And then 10 seconds in the future, they go like this, and they go like this. I'm like, are we really about to do that? So
Oh my gosh. All right, I'm tagging you now just so you have it. So listen, Mike.
tag, you're it.
Start telling us your story, because listen, all right, you know what? You heard my entire story on the interview you did. I want your entire story. Start from the beginning. I want to know everything. I want everyone out there, all your fans, and I'm going to use the word fans, I don't care, all your fans to know what started you in all this talk.
Oh boy, I have to go into the Wayback Machine, Sherman. It's like Mr. Peabody. I'm being just led through. And for all you fans in Great Britain out there, I'm being led into the TARDIS by Doctor Who. So in the time machine we go. That I was actually growing up. I was born in Milwaukee, many years ago. And you told me how old you were. So we're on that same range and everything. And then, of course, you got, the Packers were like decent then, but lived in Milwaukee for 9 months. We're about 6 blocks away from the Pabst Brewery, which probably got me addicted into drinking some beer at the time. We were 6 blocks away from the Pabst Brewery. And then we moved to Racine, Wisconsin, and about 40, 50 miles down, which is literally in between Milwaukee and Chicago. And so we stayed in a couple of townhomes for about 9 years, went to school at Goodland and went to a special school over PIC. They said learning disabilities, but it turned out that I think different. That's the whole thing. So fast forward to, career-wise, how I got started was that they put a Japanese transistor radio right by my crib, then later by my bed, and they put on WTMJ and listen to the Packers and try and get me asleep. Or sometimes put the Brewers on, yeah. And then all of a sudden, it's like, you graduate to a record player. And I remember one of the most significant birthday gifts I got, maybe 6, 7 years old. The first single that was given to me, Cat Stevens, Morning Has Broken. And I played the living dickens out of it. Oh my gosh, it's beautiful. Oh, it's wonderful. Yeah. And then the thing I found out from one of my colleagues at KFR Radio, Phil Parker, it was mentioned that Rick Wakeman was on the piano on that one. So Cat Stevens didn't play it himself. Rick Wakeman from Yes was on there. And I thought that was so significant and beautiful. And then I started collecting some 45s that were starting to build up. And my dad would go to Goodwill and all these rummage sales, just pick up like those 45s for like what, 5, 10, 15 cents, albums he could get a hold of, like Turnstile for $1 or something. We were having just albums and singles just sprawled all over. So we would just be playing them on an old turntable, and turntables just about everywhere, radios and whatever else. And oh my gosh. And then we even had our neighbors that would just keep blaring on their quadraphonic stereo with Paul Revere and the Raiders. Then they switch over to Mark Lindsay Silverbird. Knock on it says, hey, can you turn it down? But the music is so good. We're like, hey, turn it up. We love it. So we had that. And then also I ventured into sports a little bit. We went to a couple of semi-pro football games in Racine, and then I didn't get to go to a Packer game, but I sat in the Lambeau Field stands when the summertime was just all wooden benches. We have friends up there, but I actually just had a love for sports. It's like how everybody all came together. Football, baseball, basketball, hockey, and whatever else. And I even went to a Milwaukee Bucks game back in 1970 or in 71 when they won the championship. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was a rookie. He was Louis Cinder, and Oscar Robinson was the big one, the big name back then. So it was to see the big O. But who knew Kareem Abdul-Jabbar would be the big name, or Louis Cinder being a big name? And when I told one of my guys that you went to a Bucks game in 71 with those 2 Hall of Famers, you're an ass.
I love it.
Oh my goodness. And then I ventured into just getting into trying a little play-by-play where I would stay up to watch a Cubs game on the West Coast. I'd just have a spoon, have a little thing of popcorn, and I would just sit there and munch and pretend to be play-by-play. If Jack Burkhouse was not doing it, Jim West was doing it, I would just turn it down and do my own play-by-play. My first act of rebellion was I'd be up doing play-by-play. My parents would say, it's getting late, go to bed. I looked at them, and they're like, okay, we're going to bed. So
wait, I have to interrupt you, and I don't usually interrupt, but I have to. You said something very funny. You had a spoon and your popcorn. So you ate your popcorn with a spoon?
No. Actually, I want to clarify. The spoon was used as a microphone.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. There you go. I'm glad. So your spoon was here. You were pretending it was a mic.
Correct. Yes. And I think that might have been my venture into broadcasting. And then fast forward over to a year later that my dad's friend, Sam Bunag, they went out to eat together. They went to Blackhawks games, and they ate a lot of Thai food. We go over there, watch them fix cars and everything. And then on my birthday, Sam got me an AM/FM weather radio. So I was carrying around that thing, and they thought, hey, he can listen to weather. Nope. I would just pretend to be asleep. I turn on the AM radio and see how many stations I would pick up. Of course, I was in Chicago then. I picked up the stations in Milwaukee. Then I picked up stations in Detroit, Indianapolis, St. Louis, Minneapolis, and then later over in Cincinnati. And then I picked up 3WE in Cleveland, KOA in Denver, WOAI in San Antonio, and a top 40 station in Little Rock, which was a lot better at night than it was with WLS. So I listened to that. And then WBZ in Boston. I also listened to a couple of New York stations, and I just just play around, and also got WSM Nashville playing that good old country. So I just be playing with the radio at night. And now, of course, you can just pick it up any day with the internet, but it was just an adventure. See where you are. What stations can you pick up? What stations can you pick up clearly? So we had all that. And then I started getting into, more music, and I got into sports writing, which I ended up doing pretty decent. I covered some, lot of games for my school. And then I went into college and, pursued that. But then I realized that I just kind of just hit the ceiling, and I started venturing into broadcasting, and then just going over to, upper college after graduation. Then I went over to, the broadcast booth at WHCM. They're like, hey, we're looking for DJs. So I thought, I'll just try it. And as soon as I picked up a pen ready to fill out, I felt like Spider-Man just came up, and, those little spiders just bit me. And that's how the radio bug actually got started, just by picking up and everything. So so of course, I did that for 3 years. I was on the air, ran sports, news, and all that. Then I went to, Southern Illinois, which was party school back then, but it actually had the best education there. It was very cheap. Finished my 2 years. I spent time at WSIU, WIDB, spent a year or two with Southern Illinois Media Services, and then graduated. And then I went on to, I started WRMN, WJKL in Elgin for 4 years, playing big band music. I was news, play-by-play guy, did just about everything, every shift. Then I went over to WKTA Northbrook and helped out with their programming, did sports, and that took some time off to raise a young family. So I was off for about several years, and I worked in audiovisual. I worked in, warehousing, computers, management, and all that. And then fast forward over to Christian Liberty Academy, where they had a radio station in the works, and they also had a school, they had a church, and of course, they also had a workout room and everything you could imagine. But after 8 years, they shut down the station. And then they asked me one day, it's just like, have you thought about getting back on radio? So without further ado, I ventured into that. I got back in the game after about maybe 5-7 year layoff. I got on a station, WRLR, in Round Lake, Illinois, up by the Milwaukee, up by Chicago, Illinois border. So I was over there for about a few months or so until I got called to Bismarck. And then I later did some voiceover work in Milwaukee. So I worked in Milwaukee for about 6 months before I got a call to head out to Bismarck, North Dakota. I got recruited by an Arizona consulting firm, and then ventured out there, started work at KDKT. I served as intern general manager, shifted over consulting, and I'll get a little story on that, where I kind of got Dan Marino Syndrome. If nobody knew what a Dan Marino Syndrome is, you would have, like, famous player, somebody in the business and everything, big name, they can run everything. After 3 weeks, I'm like, I'm not cut off for this crap. And he was the same way too. It's like he couldn't handle being a general manager, CEO of the Miami Dolphins, his beloved team. So I stepped back, became a consultant, trained everybody, went that for about a few years, and I later just moved on because guys from Oklahoma came in, and that's how I got on KFYR Radio. I just got on part-time, sports producer, later went on to do play-by-play, news, cover some shifts, and I've been there since August of 2010, which coming up, we mark about 12 years or so, come up in August. And I started the Mike Wagner Show back in 2018. I just got bored with just music, and I kept getting asked, hey, you want to do interviews? Want to interview this guy? And I was like, no. And I thought I did interviews, for a long time, but it turned out that I was terrified to do interviews. I've had a bad experience, from way back when. I asked a question, somebody give me some smart remark, and I just bust inside, just breaking sweat. And so after about a few tries or so, I did a few previews, and one guy, it was kind of a pre-Mike Wagner show, Mark Llewellyn Evans. He was actually in a part with, it was a Guy Ritchie film. I'm trying to think. It was a Game of Shadows, like Sherlock Holmes. He was with Don Giovanni. And we got on. It was like, it wasn't an interview. It was just a conversation. So that went pretty well. And then I was on with Sandy Hallberg. It's like the first time I did it. And here's the experience. I was just nervous. I was like shaking and trying to get the controls up, the volume, putting the phone on and computers. And I was so nervous. I was sweating bullets. And then I crank up the mic. I start tensing up. And then I was trying to do a little fancy, didn't go over well. And I said, hey, Sandy. He goes, hey, how you doing, Mike? And next thing you know, a few minutes, I was in conversation mode. It's like, this is nothing. And 900 episodes later, including you, the rest is history with the Mike Wagner Show.
I would never, ever, ever have thought that. Okay. I would have thought you were doing interviews for the longest time.
Well, that's what some people say, but it was just a fact that I did journalistic interviews and I just get blasted for asking wrong questions. You shouldn't write this, write that. But then radio interviews was like totally different. You got to figure out what to say, when to say it, how to say it. But then I started listening to others, and what inspired me to do Mike Wagner's show just as I am, I got the experience from watching Johnny Carson. I was a Johnny Carson nut for a long time.
Oh, okay.
So I had that. I watched him do interviews, and Larry Batson was one of my guests, the animal guy, and he provided animals for Johnny Carson in Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom. And the thing nobody knew about, that Johnny Carson would never talk to guests. He would never interact with the animals backstage. He would go right up. He would just play with the animals, and it turned out to work better. So it was just all conversation mode and just how it was. And Dick Cavett would just get to the questions, get more inquisitive, no politics involved. It was all learning about people, learning about what they do and everything else. So I took up that style, and it was just old time conversation radio, where back in the day with radio, it was us actually just playing classical music and reading Bible. And that was the program. That was it. It was first invented. It was classical music and Bible. That was it. It was all inspired by. There was no there was no cough buttons. There was no mute buttons. There was no censors or anything like that. You coughed, it went out over the air. You interviewed somebody on the air. It was never edited. It was just all out there. So
Right, that's what I do. You know me. I do it live. That's what I choose to do.
Mm-hmm. And that's how I do it too. So it's just, so basically I got some great feedback from the Sandy Helberg interview I had on KFYR. I decided to go with just doing iHeartRadio, then venture into Spreaker with other podcast platforms, then Anchor, YouTube, and I ventured into Podbean. And now I'm here to announce that the Mike Wagner Show is now on over 40 podcast platforms, now officially heard in over 110 countries.
Cool. So cool. But I have a question. Wait, who were you saying? Okay, now I lost my train of thought. That
it happens.
He never interacted with his guests and the animals. Who was that? Johnny Carson?
Correct. Yeah. Backstage. It's like he never interacted with guests or anybody backstage. He always stood by himself. And, you know, this is why I was told that you never make eye contact with Johnny Carson. But then you go on stage, it's like he'll be talking to the guests and he'll be playing with the animals.
Yeah,
so basically, he never did any prep work. He just went out and just did his thing. That was it.
Yeah. It's funny. Amazing.
Oh my gosh. I don't know how often you watch Johnny Carson, but I later watched David Letterman, and I think
I used to watch
was on. Oh my gosh.
When I was younger too. I mean, my parents always had it on. You know, you watch the TV with your parents.
Mm-hmm. And I remember that too. And of course, another thing also is that Sunday nights, you had to go to bed early. You had to get up for school, bright-eyed and everything like that. My dad had to stay up and watch Monty Python Flying Circus every Sunday night at 10 on PBS. Everyone. I could recite just about every sketch there was. Monty Python. I loved it.
That's great. So I have a couple questions for you.
Absolutely.
All right. So is there anyone that you haven't been able to meet that you wish you could have?
I think this is going to be pretty far-fetched. I would have either Paul McCartney or Ringo Starr on my show.
Why is that far-fetched? That's not far-fetched.
I mean, nowadays it's anything with the internet, but I kind of like to go back to some of the classic rock bands. Yeah, I like to get somebody from the Who or the Stones, or even say with I'm trying to think of the other bands, or even get guys who used to play with Genesis. Yes.
Oh, forget it. Genesis. I have in my I'm in my office, but I've drawn covers of Genesis and Jethro Tull and Kansas because I went to art school. I loved all that. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and of course, you know, Jethro Tull. I heard a really good story about Ian Anderson about how Jethro Tull came about, and then ZZ Top, how they got the name.
Oh.
And Pink Floyd had a great story too, that they're going to go on as they had a name T-Set, but they found out T-Set got taken, and they looked at the two album covers. I guess they were at a bar or something. One was Pink Johnson, and the other was like something Floyd. So they put the two together.
I love
Pink,
it.
and then Floyd. It was like Pink Floyd, just off of two album covers. So
I love it. Oh my gosh, I love all those groups.
Oh yes.
Mm-hmm.
And then also I think I'm just trying to think of another story. So I'm sure it'll come to mind as well too, on how they all came about. And then AC/DC, they got their name off a vacuum cleaner where it said AC/DC on the back of a vacuum cleaner. So
I didn't know that.
all these things you come up, it's like, wow, I didn't even know about that. So I love looking at facts, looking at a little trivia and everything else. So Eddie Deason, who was on my show, is a big trivia nut. And he said I was the first person to stump him on the Beatles because no one's ever done that to him. He always had every answer for the Beatles, baseball, everything else. And I stumped him on the Beatles. Like, I didn't know that. So
oh my gosh. I have a couple guys you might want to interview. I'm going to be doing them together. I did them individually. Tom Locke and Bud Cardone. They wrote the books, the Triviapedia books.
wow, okay.
All right. And they're incredible. So we're going to do like a battle of the two of them.
Oh, that would be so fun.
But I will definitely get you their info because I didn't realize when you said that. I'm like, you know what? That would be a great interview for you. They would love it.
Mm-hmm. And certainly would too. And of course, I also had Alan Gitlin on, the comedian, and he was funny as heck. And I love hearing stories about,
Yes.
Vince McMahon, the WWE, Jennifer Aniston, and everything else. And of course, I've heard his stories, but you know what? They're still funny as heck. The lift stories and everything. Oh my gosh.
Well, that thought about Alan, because I'm going to share something with you about your show with him. All right. So here's what's funny. So you hooked me. Wait, was it you or John? Did John hook us up with Alan, or did you hook me up with it?
I hooked you up with Alan.
You hooked me up with Alan. Okay. I get confused. So anyway, I say to Alan, listen, no cursing, keep it clean. Okay. He came live in studio on Hamilton Radio. So we kept it totally clean. You post your interview with him. I listen to it. I crack up at the one part where he says, oh, I keep it clean. I never say, and he cursed. I was cracking up. I called him up. I'm like, really? I said, that was hysterical. It was appropriate. It was funny. And it was on your show. Yes.
Oh my gosh. That's too funny. Too funny.
Okay. There's always like little parts of different things that resonate and you'll always remember. And that was perfect.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it's just totally amazing. I gotta say that too. So, oh my gosh, yes. And I also still like that story about how you came about as well too, and some of the stories you shared, and
thank you.
Just how you came about and everything, and I'm just trying to remember about some of the sports you mentioned as well too. So I think there was some of that. Oh, there's one thing I forgot to mention. I've been wanting to go to Coney Island for quite some time and enjoy a Coney dog. So I wanted to do that. Just go to Coney Island.
A Coney dog and a Philly cheesesteak.
There you go. Yes. And of course, Long Island iced teas. I used to drink those in Wisconsin. 7 liqueurs and everything else. It's like, those are my younger days. Yes.
You're so funny. So this is about food. These are your, like, on your bucket list. These 3 things. I love it.
Oh, definitely. Yes. And of course, I invite you guys to come out to Bismarck, North Dakota. I'll take you guys out to the western half of the state in Medora, where you got the buffalo roaming. You got the pheasants flying. You got prairie dogs all over the place. They have a great golf course out there. They got a musical. They got a theme park out there. They got a show every time or so. The downtown's beautiful. You allow horse riding and all that. And then you go down to the Black Hills. It's where it's like, that's where all the action happens. I mean, you got Lee, Deadwood, Sturgis, and of course you got Rapid City. You also got in Custer we stay. We're not too far from Rushmore. Then you also had Crazy Horse. We went to Devil's Tower in Wyoming. We also went to an actual 50s bar in Hill City. We also went let's see, we went to an interactive animal park, which is like a roaming zoo. Of course, you just keep the windows up. You don't feed them and everything. Lions came up to you. And you had tigers came up, bears and buffalo. Like, what's that? So you have that. And this cup right here, I always show off with people. I actually got this near Mount Rushmore at the time when I started the Mike Wagner show, because I did to take my family down. We just wanted to get away for a little bit. And while my wife was buying jewelry, and also the kids were buying trinkets and everything else, and we had to run to stores. We forgot this, forgot that. We're missing this, missing that. This broke, that broke, and everything. I got this mug right here, and it was like $15. And the reason being, they priced it so low. the Broncos had a really crappy year. And I flunked geography. I'll be looking for like Minnesota Viking gear and everything. I forgot. I'm on the other western half of the state, right by Denver. So here we were, just in a pizza place, watching the Colorado Rockies, and everybody's talking about the Broncos. So that was my thing on the Mike Wagner show, where my publicist at the time, who I worked with, we were going back and forth, and it made me think of starting a show. And of course, we no longer work together, but that was my genesis of the Mike Wagner show. Every time I pick up the mug, it's like how far we've gone. It's just so amazing.
So wait, I have a question about the buffalo. So I'm an animal nut job, okay?
Oh yeah, I mean, Karen Wallowa is big on buffaloes and everything, and wildlife and all that. So I mean, it's amazing too. I've had guests on there just total animal lovers, and they're really cool people. Love them.
But could I ever go near one?
The thing is that oh my gosh, you know something? I've got an upcoming guest that will talk about their experience about touching buffaloes. It takes a lot of skill. It takes a lot of guts and redemption. You have to get them at the right time. The thing is, they're actually sensitive around people. And if you get them too close, they'll start charging at you.
All right.
So that's the whole thing. They got poor eyesight. They don't understand what's going on. And I'll tell you a little buffalo story too, that I take my kids to a little city park in Elgin. They've got some buffalo over there. And one time I think a buffalo got mad, and one of my kids was over there. He was charging up, go boom, boom. It was right at the fence. I'm like, oh, scary. Well, you know, like that. But, you know, they try to get through and they charge like crazy. And then we stopped at a rest area just to go to the bathroom. My son walks over and you want to touch buffalo? Get back, get back. And they'll go to the parking lot. But then when he came out, there was a charge of them that was like maybe about 10 feet away, just like in a road that's just like rumbling. No one, better get in. So yeah, you gotta be careful with those things. So
all right, because I'm crazy with animals.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So if you do get out to the Dakotas, check out the buffaloes over there too, especially in the Black Hills over by Medora and all that. Oh my gosh. I mean,
like I went to Alaska with my dad when he was alive, right? And a couple other family members went on a cruise. We went away for 2 weeks. You know, we didn't see one bear. I saw a bear on Bresnahan Road in Robbinsville growing up, okay? But not in Alaska. I had to take a photo of the giant signs on the road of a bear, just to say I saw a bear. Yeah.
Yeah, though, I'll tell you one thing. They don't take picking packs like Yogi does and everything. But we actually saw a bear that was just walking along the interstate. We went to my in-laws in West Virginia. So I think we're on the I'm trying to think. What was that one road that went through Kentucky? Was it the 64? And it was like Saturday morning, and it was like really foggy. And here was a bear that was walking along the roadway. I went, oh, must be hunting for food. It's like, that thing better not get too close to us. So that was the time we actually saw a live one, not a zoo or anything, but just walking along. I thought, ooh, that was interesting. And then my wife encountered snakes. She had to go to the bathroom, and there were some snakes there up on the rest area. We weren't sure they were diamond heads, copper, cobras, or anything like that. But there was like a bunch of them. I'm like, you better get down there. But surprisingly, I think there was an angel Lord came down. The snakes did not touch her one bit. She walked through like it was nothing.
I'm looking, keep talking, because I'm looking for a photo to show you. Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah. Are you looking for a bear, snake, or what are you looking for?
Snake. Okay, listen to me. I am, like I said, I'm crazy. I had tons of snakes as pets. I've had everything, even a rat. But I had a snake massage. I love snakes. I've touched snakes out in the wilderness. I mean, I am nuts. I'm crazy. Okay, whatever. But I want to see if I can find. I know it's in here because I have folders. And I want to show you. My daughter took me. Here it is. My daughter took me for a snake massage. Okay. These snakes were all over me. That's on my face.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, wait, I'll show you one more. It was the greatest thing ever. Okay, so that.
Wow.
Okay, but then they got all over my body, and I was on cloud 9. Okay.
Holy cow! What breed of snakes were they?
They were all different. She had boas. She had like 3 or 4 different ones. So, but all right. So now I have another question for you about your incredible career as a broadcaster, as a DJ. I mean, all this great stuff. So let's have a little fun, and you don't have to mention names or year or anything. But do you have any things you could share about maybe one of your silliest interviews or something crazy that happened or surprising or bad?
Well, I do have to say that I was on with Artie Hoffman, one of my earlier guests, and he wanted to record on a Sunday night. And as it turned out that we're sharing stories about, some of the things, people believe, some of the crazy requests he get. It's like, can you get me this? Can you get me that? And then we're sitting there swapping stories. And then all of a sudden, I think we got to a part where we're just cracking up for 5 minutes. I can't remember what it was, but we were laughing for 5 straight minutes. And I think I told everybody that was the best part of all. It's like just laughing for 5 minutes just over some silly stuff. And we just had some of that. But I think also I had some guests on where, they had dogs or cats that would just come on in. And I just say, oh, I see you have a special guest. And Lorraine Lando was one of my favorites. And she had about quite a few dogs. She had several cats and a couple of birds and everything. And cats would just go up and start rubbing against the mic. And half the time we were just talking about animals and everything else. So we're just, having a conversation about that, talked about birds and everything else. And then Sadie Katz was on my show. And then I had over Christmas time and half the conversation was talking about her brand new dog that she got. So it's just so adorable. And I think she had him in one of her movies as well, too. So you talked about that. She was talking about getting the cat and everything else. And I think there was also Willie Muller from Major League. And we were talking baseball and just swapping baseball stories. And he said he was the Duke that was like, that would get on and just like hurl fastballs at his son trying to hit him. He was actually a really good pitcher. He was actually pitched from Milwaukee Brewers, and he went 1-0 and told me a story about how he got that win, although he didn't deserve it. Just threw one pitch, guy popped out and everything else. And he said that he was on the set with I'm trying to think, who was it, Corbin Benson, and he said Corbin Benson was just too funny. He said, "Get me this. I need this done. I need this done. Dust that chair." Dust the chair?
Oh my gosh.
Oh my goodness.
So, all right, let me ask you this then. You mentioned that a couple interviews, especially in the beginning, you asked the wrong questions. It wasn't a good thing, blah, blah, blah. And again, you don't have to mention names, but can you tell us maybe what the question was about that wasn't good?
I couldn't exactly remember. I think it was a question I had asked earlier, and I think it might have been like maybe just somewhere out of the league or something, but it was just like, or I worded it wrong, and now I felt like just cold sweat broke inside of me. So, I've had some of that, or maybe just some of the repetitive. So it's like I was trying to come up with a list of questions, and I learned it's just regular conversations. I've seen too many hosts on there just rattle off a list of questions, and I get complaints from people that it's not real conversation. I mean, it's like, my God, it's like even my kid can do that. So that's why I learned you just got to learn how. Yeah, you just got to learn how to branch off of those people. You listen, everything. That's the whole thing about is listening. Listen. And I hate to say it's like a lot of these people don't seem to listen these days.
Well, I want to, say something about what you just said. So I shared this with you as well. And I say this on some interviews. I was in trouble every day of my life. I kid you not, in school. The teachers loved me because I was never a mean kid or nothing. I was a silly, funny, goofy kid. And I was in trouble every day of my life for talking. So, and I kid around and say I should have done this a long time ago. Okay. But I've never said to myself when I got into this, it was going to be questions and answers. I'm not that person. That would be boring to me. I wouldn't enjoy it. I couldn't do it. So I'm going to tell you what happened. Don K. Reed. Okay. Mm-hmm. So this is the thing. All my interviews are like this. You and me talking, right? Blah, blah, blah. Only a couple times people said, could you ask me a few questions? And I said, email me 3 questions you would like to make sure we talk about. So that I'll do that once in a while if they, because some people have like certain things they don't want to forget and they want me to ask them about. That's okay. And I never, ever really go through someone's bio, really, I only want to know a little bit about you, and I want the rest to even surprise me. Okay. Mm-hmm. So now I have the opportunity a year or so ago, year and a half ago, whatever it's been, 2 years ago, to interview Don K. Reed. Now, I mean, who doesn't know Don K. Reed and Cousin Brucey, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was nervous. I've only been nervous one other interview, and that was with Elvis Presley's nurse Marion, because I'm a huge Elvis fan, and Elvis Aaron Presley Jr. Those two.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I'll tell you about that one another time. And I had proof and papers stating he was given the rights to his father's name. Absolutely. We'll talk.
Oh my goodness. I didn't know that.
You got to interview him then. All that's out there. But all right. So anyway, Don K. Reed, I'm super nervous. So we talk. And I'm like, Don, listen, do you want to send me a list of questions you want me to ask you? Like, he's like, why? I swear to God. And I go, do you want to send me your bio? No. I don't want you to really know much. Jer, just be yourself. He said he's never done that with any interviews. He's never checked people out. He's never asked for questions. Everything's off the cuff. And I said, I do too, but with you, I'm nervous. And he's like, why? I said, because it's you. You know what I mean? So anyway, the interview was incredible. And within 5 minutes, he made me feel totally comfortable, like myself. And it was great. So hearing you also saying that just is like, yes, thumbs up. Yes.
Oh, definitely. And I want to say this, that Mike Dupree was also one of my favorites as well, too, giving a big shout out, because we were talking broadcasting, talking puppets and everything.
Yes.
And the thing I think we went on for the majority of the time was talking 60s and 70s cartoons, especially going back in the 60s. I've been a big cartoon fan. You got the days of Underdog, Tennessee Tuxedo, Bugs Bunny, and then you had Daffy Duck, and and I think you had oh gosh, was it Squiggly Squid, the Banana Splits. And I remember it'd be either like in the morning you had the Banana Splits, before he went to school, or lunchtime he had Banana Splits. After school, they keep rotating. It's like when we lived in Racine, it's like in Milwaukee you would have like the Banana Splits in the morning, and Chicago had Banana Splits in the afternoon, or it's just like, they'll just go back and forth and everything. What's nice is that you could just go to any of those stations, wherever you feel like watching a Milwaukee TV station or Chicago TV station. And I got hooked on Bozo Circus, although we live in Racine. It's like watching Bucket Number 6. We had that. And then Ray Rayner has cartoons. He always said, bye, bye, bye. And then he had a specially designed hat where it's like Cubs on one side and White Sox on the other. So he did that to say, hey, we're both fans. We both love baseball. It doesn't matter if you're a Cubs or Sox fan. He was still a baseball fan. That was a really cool thing to do. So
well, I brought Mike Dupree live in Hamilton Radio in studio. And now, so he has a connection now with everyone at Hamilton Radio. It was amazing. But he brought his two puppets. The bad one that was in the, and then the good boy. Okay? The whole time I was cracking up. Doc G was cracking up from watching it, right, Doc G? You
Absolutely,
there?
yes.
Okay?
Oh, hey, Doc G, how's it going?
Hey, I'm listening. Go ahead, guys.
But I'll tell, and then you talk to Doc G. And so anyway, the whole time I'm going, you be good. You be good to the bad one. I'm saying you're a bad influence on the good one. The good one is red. Okay, the good one was red. We had a blast with him. Doc G, say hi to Mike.
Hey, Mike, how's it going, buddy? Thanks for letting me be here, Jerry.
Hey, good to have you on as well, too, Doc G, and thanks for letting me be on Hamilton Radio. It's so good to talk to you right here as we speak. I mean, just totally amazing to have you on as well. So
I know. I feel like that wizard in the background because you can't see me. You can hear my voice.
Yeah, it's like
can you get on so we can see you? Or
I don't think Ruben has it set up yet. No, sorry.
That's okay.
Because I'm at the studio. I'm live at the studio. Yeah.
Ruben, say hi.
Ruben, where are you?
Ruben.
I don't know where he went.
Ruben.
He went
All right,
somewhere
when
else.
he comes up, let him say hi.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Ask him a couple questions.
Go ahead, guys. I mean, you can ask me anything. It's like, I don't bite at all. That's the thing.
Go ahead.
Well,
Doc G.
Mike, that banana split thing. I mean, listen, I was a big child of the 60s and 70s of all the cartoons, just like you. Felix the Cat. Oh my God, so many different ones. Top Cat, and just incredible voiceover people that did them voices, and of course, just like you, Mike, I did a lot of the voices as well. And you try to mimic them.
Morocco Mole.
Morocco Mole, yeah. Secret Squirrel, yeah. I mean, incredible people. But the cartoons, our kids, unfortunately never got to see them. My daughters, but the incredible thing that it left with us was the entertainment quality. It kept us entertained for hours and hours, and you wanted to see more.
Oh my gosh.
Adam
yeah,
Ant,
Oh yeah, up and Adam. Oh, we had that. Oh, Hanna-Barbera was a blast. You know, everybody
Amazing,
thought
yeah.
Scooby-Doo, but then you also had the other ones, Quick Draw McGraw.
Yeah.
Was
yeah.
it Droopy Dog or
Droopy
something?
Dog,
And
yeah.
then,
Yep.
And
Deputy
oh my
Dog as
gosh.
well.
And Huckleberry Hound. I'm trying to go through my mind here. On,
I know it's hard, Mike.
what cartoons. Oh my gosh, yeah. It's almost like I gotta be on YouTube, and then the time I had COVID around January, I basically just while I rested, I just watched Underdog the whole time. You know, going back to like 1964, then 65.
Yes.
Sweet
Polly
Valley
Purebred,
Bread.
yeah.
Oh help, Underdog! There's no need to fear. Underdog is here.
Oh, that's a good voice. Our voiceover guy, John Thielon, does about 100 different character voices, and he does a lot of the cartoons, and like The Simpsons and Family Guy, but he also does a lot of the older cartoons too. So it's so cool. So cool when you hear that, you know?
It does, yeah. It's almost like a flashback where it's like the entertainment quality is there, and nobody worried about offending everybody. Bugs Bunny too. That there's a little story behind it where you see all those little blurbs on there. You go, this guy's an idiot. This guy doesn't know what he's doing. That was actually dialogue going back and forth between certain writers, and kind of like an indirect slam at some people as well, or the dialogue. It'd be like an indirect slam at some people, but they were just going back and forth. It was a really funny way how they did it too.
So Mike, now that you're broadcasting now, what is next for you?
Oh, what's next? Well, I broke the news right here on the Geri Petito show that I'll be on Hamilton Radio starting next Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central, and Geri Petito, I had her on earlier. It's going to be rebroadcast on the show. That will be
first one.
Beautiful.
G.
Beautiful. That's beautiful. Now that's exactly, it's awesome. We want people like you. I keep saying that. We want people like you that appreciate us to bring you on, but also, we appreciate having you on. Mm-hmm. It's mutual.
And it's certainly amazing too. It's a great trade-off as well too. And of course, I'm glad he asked me what's coming up as well. Of course, there's more great guests, and of course, I'll be expanding to other platforms. Beautiful. And also too that I'll also be I'm going to work slowly but surely about writing a book about the Mike Wagner Show and my career. So
beautiful.
I'm just getting into that, just slowly but surely working on a book and everything. But it's probably going to take years or so. I mean, I'm in no rush at all. So as long as my voice is going, and as long as I'm enjoying what I'm doing, I mean, I can't complain at all. So that's how I say at this point. So it's like there's always more shows, more guests. I keep expanding, and I mean, it's all I can do at this point. So it's like I'm looking to get on more networks, and I mean, a major one would be nice as well. But you guys are just totally amazing. So I'm always looking to expand. So like I said, I was in 30 podcast platforms, and I was like 50, 60 countries, and I counted. And today I'm on 40 podcast platforms and stretching out, and 110 countries I've been heard on since the show was born.
And that's beautiful. Cool. Right. And Geri, the funny thing is, Mike and I, actually, I didn't ask Mike. Mike had the idea. Mike, remember when you said you had the idea? Let's talk about it. And I'm like, all right, well, guess what I'm thinking about? Putting you on the air. It's like, oh, that's perfect. It's like we were just like in the same sync. It's like amazing.
So cool.
It does, yeah. It's like great minds think alike. You gotta say.
Oh, I don't know about that. Thanks, Mike. You're too kind for that. Thank you.
Creative minds think alike. Let's just put it that way.
Creative minds. Yeah,
that's right too. And what impressed me, G, is that I love the way you had that old Genesis shirt, A Trick of the Tail. I've been a Genesis fan for God knows how long.
Yeah,
yes,
follow you, follow me, baby. Yes.
Yeah, we love them. Great band.
Oh yeah, it's like I love the Peter Gabriel stuff. Phil Collins really took it to a whole new level. I gotta say that. It's like, oh my gosh. I mean, that was just one hell of a band, I'll tell you.
Would that be your favorite band of all time, Genesis?
That's been my favorite. I've been a Yes fan for quite some time. Mm-hmm. I love Rush, and I love Van Halen ever since they came out. And when I heard that song, it's like, oh my gosh, I'm hooked. And of course, I have to look at the Cars, and I'm gonna have to go through my list and who I listened to. I've been a classic rocker for God knows how long, and talked that. And I was on with Karen Waller. We talked King Crimson and some of the other classic rock, Asia, which also put the super groups together and everything. And saw REO Speedwagon's my first concert. I mean, they've been my biggest for like God knows how long, and they're still touring, believe it or not. Yes, coming to a small venue near you, a state fair, or wherever, your backyard. They're there.
Well, actually, we have Air Supply coming in down the shore, Jerry, in June or July. My wife wants to go.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. One
'cause-
of my best friends is a big Air Supply fan, and he's like the unofficial president of the Air Supply fan club. He talked to all the members and interacted and everything. It's like they just love him, I'll tell you. So
Yeah. It's Air Supply or America or a couple other ones. And they're still my favorites, the 70s, 80s. You know, it's funny, though, Mike. You know, it's 2022. We're still listening to 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s music. I just can't believe it.
and some 90s as well, too.
Some
The fact
90s as
that-
well, yeah.
And a little bit of 90s, but for some reason, it's just like, I just still think the magic is there. It's like,
Yeah.
all the hard work you put in. And I was watching a Beatles documentary, and when they did that White Album, it's like they were doing every recording technique possible. They even had like, just like tapes stretching like, 10 feet out, on a wooden leg, and they had like several wrapped around a pencil. And I think they tried one on a cat, where it's like, they'll twist this and turn that, and it's like they come up with every trick in the book. It's like, how do they do this crap? So,
Well, like she said, it's creative. Go ahead, Jer.
Well, wait, Doc G, I want to share something with both of you, which is really awesome for me.
Sure.
I always say, Mike, I was born too late because I love doo-wop. I'm 61 now. I love doo-wop and oldies and Elvis, right?
that too,
I've
yes.
Yeah, I've interviewed so many young up-and-coming indie artists. Do you know every one of them I've asked this to, and they all agreed. They listened to all of it. They know all the oldies and the artists. They say if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be doing what we're doing. So
That's right too. I haven't listened to big band back in the day, and then had classic country, which my folks listened to: Patsy Cline,
Yep.
Willie Nelson,
Yeah, come
Glenn
on.
Campbell, the outlaw country, which I
Right.
really got into. I was hooked on Chris Christopherson. My dad loved listening to
forget
George
it.
Carlin. Oh my
Yes.
God.
Yeah,
So-
absolutely. Yeah.
So, Doc G, we're coming to the close of the show. We still have time, plenty of time. Is there anything else you'd like to ask Mike?
Well, Mike, you said you wanted to write a book. That's great. How about being in movies? Are you interested in doing any movie type of thing? Because I'll be honest with you, and just as a plug for myself too, by the way, I was asked, Jerry, I was asked to be in a movie, and I play a broadcaster in a movie because pretty much that's what I do. But it's up for some awards right now in some film festivals, and I'm so happy and happy about that. Is there any chance you think you might want to be in the future being in a movie or a TV series?
I wouldn't mind trying it, because I always tell people I have a face for radio, but I also threw my hat in the ring that if I don't get selected to be on camera, I'd be willing to do like an off camera, like a voiceover, like say, giving the news even for like 5-10 seconds in a movie. And I almost was an extra in a movie called Wildcats when they had it. I think it was either in Southern Illinois or it was up in Chicago, but we'd be one of the many extras, be like 90 degrees, and here we are pretending to cheer in our winter coats. But it just conflicted to where we're supposed to go through and everything else. And I think I was asked to be in a couple others, but it was just a while back. But what I wouldn't mind doing is like lending my voice to a film or a project or anything like that. It's like like say over the airport speakers, like now leaving California on flight 426, stuff like that. I mean, I'd be content with doing something like that, or even with those
Hey,
fake
Ruben,
ads.
come here. They want to talk to you real quick. Hold on before you go, Mike. Ruben wants to talk real quick.
I
Go
would
ahead.
be afraid I wouldn't be able to remember the lines and
Jerry wants
you know.
you.
Just trying to find my tools.
Jerry and Mike want to on the. We're still on, so they just want to say hi.
Hey, Mike, how you doing?
Hey, good. How's it
Long
going?
time no see.
I know, or long see no time, or
I-
is it here or something? Yeah.
Yeah, I know exactly. So, how is it yesterday? Since you're an hour behind.
Oh, an hour behind. Oh my gosh, boy, it's just hard to say. I feel like I'm in a time warp. It seems
Time
like
warp.
so. or was that movie like Groundhog Day? It's like you wake up to the same thing except for Groundhog Day, something like that with Bill Murray. Oh
Hey,
my gosh.
I just want to ask you: is it true that North Dakota is like the most freest state in the country?
The free state or freeziest?
Probably both.
What,
Take your pick.
what I do have to say that is that we actually do have our war moments, and we had 2 years of drought and had like 13 inches of total rain and snowfall for the past 2 years, but
Yeah.
we had a couple of blizzards, and I think we're about 50 inches. I think we just about quadrupled our total from the last 2 years. I mean, we're back up to normal with the lakes, rivers, streams, and everything else. But the one thing I miss is that being able to cook out every single Saturday night with family. It's like I only did that 4 times over 2 years with the burn bans they placed on us. Now it's a matter of what kind of summer are we going to have up in North Dakota. It's going to be a really hot one we had for the past 2 years. We're going to have rain. It's going to be decent. So, I mean, I'm just keeping my eye on that. But in the meantime, I just keep stockpiling my freezer with, steaks, burgers, chops, chicken, just about everything to throw on the grill. And it's like, oh, they're just so overdue to come out to cook. So come on out and we'll grill you some too. So bring some brewers or whatever. Yeah. So
grill you some, all right, baby.
There you go. Yeah. And of course, I throw a lot of brats on the grill too. Since I grew up in Wisconsin, like brats are the big thing, especially when having beer and everything. That's the big thing. And of course, another treat in Wisconsin is and what's called ground round or tiger meat, where it's actual raw hamburger, but it's processed different. It's like you just form it like a hamburger patty. You put it on rye bread. You add a lot of Lowry seasoned salt. You sprinkle the heck out of it. You put a big raw onion ring on it, and eat it just like a regular hamburger. So
well, I'm vegetarian, so you had me with everything else but the meat part.
Me too, with the raw meat on top of it, right, Ruben? But wait, I got to share something with you guys. Ruben, I told them this. When I was in Australia, I used to go to Australia often, and actually my friend is coming here this weekend. But I would stay with this family because I had a poker league and we all teamed up. So I know like 200 Australians, okay? So they're like family to me. But I'm vegan. And a few years back, they took me to, what's the restaurant we have here also with the crocodile on the ceiling? What is that?
Outback?
Yeah, thank you. So they took me to the real one, Mike, like the real one. They had a real, like, alligator crocodile stuffed on their ceiling, okay?
Wow.
Oh, yes. So we're mimicking the real. Okay, so anyway, long story short, they order skewers of crocodile and, what was the other thing? Oh, shoot. Oh, kangaroo and crocodile. Skewers.
Kangaroo and crocodile. Wow.
And I have a photo of it. Skewers of it, okay?
It sounds like a bite and hop.
I said, when in Rome, do as the Romans. So what I did was a taste and spit. So I didn't swallow it, but I had to taste it. It was delicious, but I had to spit it out. But yes, so your raw meat though, yuck.
Okay, I didn't mean to bring that up. I had to bring some Wisconsin traditions in there too, and of course, we love our Chicago pizza also. It's like the stuffed pizza, the deep dish, and everything. And so it's like we're big pizza holics as well too. So it's like,
well, yeah, Chicago.
I get done. I have a pizza tonight, and I'll share you guys some as well too. So
yeah, that's definitely Hey, Mike, I know Jerry said not to get into politics or anything, but I just got one question. I'm sure.
Absolutely.
No.
Okay, just one question. I'm just curious.
I might say don't answer it if I don't approve the question.
Just curious. It's just about regulation. Is it true that North Dakota, as a state, has the least regulations in the country?
Yes.
I think in terms of whatever it is, they're along the lines of Montana and South Dakota as well too, and it's a much more freer state as well too. I have all these rules, restrictions, and everything else, which where we lived, it's like all bound by red tape and strict rules, and of course you had high taxes and everything else. And here's it's like you're pretty much almost like it's much looser, it's freer in a way too, and
that's what I thought.
There's also ways you could also raise your kids without interference and everything else. So it's like a lot looser, more opportunities, and also to run a business or whatever it is. So almost like a freedom to establish your own territory. That's how I look at it.
Wow.
We're moving there.
Yeah, see, Jerry? That's why I said it wasn't politically rated. It wasn't politically.
Not really political, that question. All right, look, this was the taste and spit. So there's the skewers.
Okay.
Of crocodile and kangaroo. There's my two buddies with me holding my baby, the big giant koala. See?
Okay.
Nice.
Okay. And he put me in the car, and not good. It only lasted less than a minute because you're on the wrong side of the road and the wrong side of the car. Okay?
Wait, Jerry,
so that wasn't good for me.
Jerry,
okay.
Where's the spit?
It was in the car. All right. So, Gino, you there, Doc G?
I'm still here. Go ahead.
why don't you guys say your goodbyes to Mike? And Mike, if you have anything you want to say to them, say it now.
Absolutely, too. Just wanted to say that check out the Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com and over 40 podcast platforms like Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also Anchor FM, iTunes, Google Play, Amazon, Audible, Apple Music, and coming soon to Hamilton Radio every Thursday night at 9 Eastern, 8 Central. Make sure you check it out. Also, take the Mike Wagner Show on any mobile device. Subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel. Follow the Mike Wagner Show on Instagram and Twitter today. And for great gift ideas, go to Amazon.com and check out the Mike Wagner Show podcast. T-shirts, pop sockets, throw pillows, tote bags, hoodies, baseball items, and more. And check it out, Amazon.com at the Mike Wagner Show. And for more great gift ideas, go to Amazon.com/MiaMolsonZia for great books like merchandise, Missing, Once, and Wrinkles. Also T-shirts, pop sockets, hoodies, and phone cases and more. Amazon.com/MiaMolsonZia, the official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show. You can also support the Mike Wagner Show on Anchor FM, PayPal.com.
And we got one more thing.
And also, you can buy me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com with the Mike Wagner Show. And of course, we'll have you on next Thursday night. So I had you on as well too, and then I'll let everybody know who's coming up the week after that, the week after that. So you're going to be the first to be on Hamilton Radio, and it's going to be our interview. We talked before, and we're going to relive it again, which is great.
So, Doc G, do you guys want to say anything?
Yeah, hey, Mike. Hey, Mike, you're like Ron Pompeo. You can get this and this and this, and for $29.99 plus one more thing. So, Mike, Mike, we can read a book and sleep with you all in the same night, huh?
Absolutely, yes. I mean, you can do that as
That's
well.
Awesome.
Too, so.
Awesome, Mike. And welcome.
Make julienne salads, yes.
What would you like to say to Mike?
Oh my God, Mike! I mean, it's been a pleasure. We've talked on the phone. We've had conversation. We've shared about a lot of different thoughts and ideas and goals. And I just can't wait for you to be on the station and people can hear you. Remember, you're also on Smoking Bacon Radio when you're on our station, and that's going to give you a little bit more clout as well because you're all over the world with all the military all over the world. But I love the way you did that. That was just great. And I appreciate you so much. Thanks, for being, associated with us and associated with Geri. And we just love having you. And it's a pleasure knowing you. Thanks, Mike.
And thank you for everything, guys, as well, too. Looking forward to a great partnership. And
welcome,
if you want
Mike.
to buy my
Welcome.
merchandise, let me know. Yes, and we'll be glad to send them over to you. So yes.
You had them cracking up, Mike. I want to say my thank yous to you. Okay.
And thank you, guys. Yes.
First of all, I love you. I thank you so much for our interview, for you being the first with you on Hamilton Radio. I'm so excited and here honoring me today with this incredible interview. So I love you. Take us out, Ruben.
Ladies and gentlemen, Geri Petito.
I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. And in time, this too shall pass. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. Geri Petito taught the class. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. Love's the answer, the greener grass. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. One day at a time, free at last.
When you don't know just what to do.
Just what to do, just what to do.
If what you're feeling is really true.
Is it really true? Is it really true?
Just keep your ideas safe and sound.
Safe and sound, safe and sound.
That's exactly how change is found.
Change is found, change is found. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. And in time, this too shall pass. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. Geri Petito taught the class. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. Love's the answer, the greener grass. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. One day at a time, free at last.